Back now to one of our top stories today. It's been 1 year since 22-year-old Mahsa Amini died after being arrested in Tehran for allegedly not wearing her hijab properly. For more on this somber and tragic anniversary, we're joined live by Shahrzad Mojab, a professor of women and gender studies and education at the University of Toronto. Now, Shahrzad, as someone who's in the community, for people outside of it, whether you're Muslim or Iranian, talk to us about the significance of what happened a year ago, this movement of both men and women coming together to fight for the right not to have to wear hijab.
It is extremely important, and the significance of it definitely is beyond Iran, but also within Iran. And you can see that in the last year, the echo of the demands of Iranian women summarized in a very important and beautiful slogan of women life freedom. It became an international movement. And it is not it is started by the opposition against the compulsory veiling, but immediately it turned into a much larger political and cultural protest against the authoritarian regime of Islamic Republic in the last 40 years. So that is its significance. That is covers not only gender and sexuality, it covers the rights of national minorities, and the addresses the question of unemployment, poverty, but also a regime that is oppressive politically, intellectually, and also has curtailed the freedom and democracy for Iranian people.
Well, clearly the impact was large. It was global, in fact. We heard celebrities, world leaders, the everyday person talking about Mahsa Amini and the situation for women in Iran. Now, I want to ask a little more about the rhetoric you've heard over the last year from those people. Are there any misconceptions you've heard about the situation there that you'd like to clear up now?
I would not say that there is misconception, but I would say that misunderstanding probably. The misunderstanding is related to the fact that reliance or expecting that especially Western powers will come to rescue or help Iranian people, and we saw that they sort of a backlash of it. Most of the Western powers, especially recently, even the U.S. and European powers, they have supported the regime. They are in many different ways and in a very complicated political, geopolitical, actually, manners that they have done that. But most importantly, and this is very important for me, is the reliance of the Iranian people and those who are fighting on the streets of Iran today on the support of global community, people-to-people building solidarity. And that's why that today's action, global action, is very important to give Iranian people the assurance that we are hearing their voices. We are standing in support and solidarity with their demands for a better life, for freedom, for democracy, which is beyond Iran also. It has important implications within the region and also globally, as we see that there are backlashes against women's achievement of, I would say, that the last century, basically. Look at the issues of abortion, for example.
Absolutely. It's certainly a bigger global issue on a scale when it comes to women and their role in the world and the fights and the rights that they do have. Looking in Iran now, I'm sure many people are curious a year later, how are the conditions for women there?
The condition is as it was before, but I would say that in terms of the security forces, the surveillance, and the mechanisms of state violence, it has exacerbated in the last year. However, it is remarkable to see the resistance of youth and women and the sacrifice and their daring act of really resisting and their defiance against this level of unprecedented state violence.
Shahrzad, my last question for you here. Marches last year were about awareness, making people understand the situation there. They were fighting for justice. Marches that we're seeing this year, especially the one here in Toronto, what are they representing, and do you plan on attending yourself?
It's a reminder of that awareness that where we are and where the women of Iran and also members of national minorities, artists, workers, union members are today, and also a reminder that the struggle is going on. And people of Iran are defiant in really ending this authoritarian regime. Not only bring their power down for Iran, but as I said, it has enormous implication for the region and also all women around the world, and that's the power of this movement that we cannot undermine.
Absolutely, a powerful, powerful movement indeed. Professor Shahrzad Mojab of Women and Gender Studies and Education at the University of Toronto, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your insights with us today.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.